Hello, my fellow comic book collectors. Today I just got back from going to Toronto Fan Expo. It was pretty amazing. I recorded a previous video that if you haven't seen that, it was like a pre-show kind of thing where I basically planned out an attack, what I wanted to do for the show. I brought a bunch of books with me that I would use to trade or sell or something or other. And I'm going to show you what I brought back. I got a huge haul of books, and I even got a free shirt. I won a free shirt. So I got this cool shirt, like from a spin thing where you get the spin. I don't know. Some cool shirt. I got that. Got a bunch of other free stuff as well. But I got a bunch of really cool comics. I'm going to show you the free stuff first because then I'll build up to the big stuff. There was some really big stuff. So I got these free comics like Gloomhaven. It's kind of cool. And okay, so those were the free books that I got. And then the first one I went to, the first vendor I went to was Scout Comics. It just happened to be one of the first ones at the entrance. And they had a pretty good deal where I think it was like $20. And you got they gave 3 digital comics and 2 actual comics. So Stabbity Bunny, #1, and The Mall, #1. So kind of a 2 little sets. And I think actually these books, I think the Stabbity Bunny usually goes for about $10 to $15. So for $20, get 3 digital comics and, another book. So I thought it was a reasonable deal. And then, I was searching around, kind of digging through the long boxes, kind of looking for stuff. My son, actually, I was really worried about him. Like, if you watch my previous video, I kind of complained about my kids. But my son was actually really nice. He was actually very helpful, to tell you the truth. He didn't record much. We did one interview, which I'll air later. But yeah, but he was very helpful. And he was very patient. I felt really bad for him because I'm just digging through long boxes. And he was a little bit bored, but he was actually very, very, very nice. So I was quite happy with my son. So what happened was I encountered one guy who just had a really great collection of stuff. I'm gonna have to grab all the books that he gave me. It's like just a huge collection. Okay, so it was a pretty nice collection of stuff. So he had a bunch of Lois Lanes. So I got Lois Lane 130. That was pretty cool. So these are all just issues that I'm missing from the run. 119. 116. Have a cool cover. And then he had Lois Lane 72, I believe. Yeah, 72. And Lois Lane 90. And he had a bunch of Submariner as well. So Submariner 24. Nice Orca cover. And then number 15. My friend Mark Oldroyd showed this book, and I was like, oh, that's a really cool cover. I don't have it. I thought it would be really cool to get, so I got that one. Then he had some Golden Age stuff. This one vendor, Captain Midnight. I thought this was kind of a fun cover. $33. That's what he had it listed at. I think his prices hadn't changed for a while. He was an old man, and he had the prices at really great prices. That's $33 Canadian, by the way. And then he had Cinderella Love, which is $40. So just to do the translation, $40 is roughly $30 US. So $30 for Cinderella Love in reasonable condition. It's actually, I would say it's in reasonable condition. What does it say on the back? I would say it's like at least a 5. So, not a bad one. Number 12. It's not the big one that everyone likes, the Matt Baker one, but it is a cool one. And he had some more Submariner. Number 28. And these are all the ones I needed for my run of Submariner, which I'm trying to complete as well. Then he had this really nice Daredevil. Like, nice Daredevil. Number 9. Thought that was cool. And I couldn't believe this one. When I saw this, I was like, what? This is just too awesome. He had this really great LB Cole cover, Confessions of Romance. And he had it listed at $75, which is roughly, it'd be roughly about $55 US. So not too bad. Just a really great price. So he had all those. So this big stack, okay? Big stack. Now, I mentioned, hey, I have these comics that I want to trade, and I showed him the ones that I had. I showed him my Land of the Lost, number 7, which is a really rare book. That's a really rare book. And one of my Jungle, Lornas of the Jungle, okay? So those 2 books, okay? And he was like, I don't really like the other Golden Age that you have. I just like those 2 books. So he traded all of that stuff for the 2 books. I was like, wow, that's really great. But there was another vendor right next to him who saw all my other Golden Age stuff. So he's like, I'll buy the other Golden Age stuff from you. So I traded for all of that stuff for the 2 books. And I did buy one thing from the guy. He had this one. I thought it was really nice. It was $20 Canadian, so that's roughly like $15 US. But it's a really nice, first print from the 1970s of like this kind of Richard Corbin artwork book. It's quite nice, like really great artwork. If you're a Richard Corbin fan, I'm a big Richard Corbin fan. So that was pretty cool. So I bought that for $20. That was the only money that exchanged hands with that first vendor. So the second vendor, he's like, I'll buy the rest. So I went over to him and, I said, there's about $400 worth of value, US. I will give you it for 400 Canadian because I figured, he has to make a little bit of profit. And then he was like, no, that's too crazy. That's too much. And then he took out one of the books. So one of the books was removed. And so I said, okay. He said, so I said, what do you want? How much do you want for these books? And he said, well, how about $325? I said, okay, that's a little bit low, a little bit low. But I said, okay, I'll go for $325 and just throw in this other book that you just happened to have right there that I was looking at earlier, a Submariner number 7, one of these great photo covers. I really like this book. So I was like, so I got $325 from that guy, and I got all those cool books from the other guy. So it was just really a great deal, like just a really great situation that happened there. So now I had some extra money that I could use to spend and buy some other cool comics. So I did exactly that. The next one was another vendor who just happened to have a really cool book, and I kind of talked him down on it. It was Captain Carrot and the Flaming, Captain Carrot, Flaming Carrot Comics, I should say, number 1. I always liked this book. I paid about, how much would it be? Roughly a little bit less, so about 120 US. I really talked him down on the price, so 120 US. And it's for 9.0. It's a pretty cool comic to get if you like these kind of weird indie books. I always wanted this one in my collection, so I thought that was cool. And then another vendor I went to had this Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles that I needed for my collection. It was $20. I didn't even negotiate. I said, okay, $20, sure. But can you throw in something? So he said, oh yeah, normally if you spend $50, we'll give you like this free comic, like exclusive comic. And he gave me like this weird coupon. So he said, you just take this coupon over to some other place and they will give you an exclusive Comic-Con comic. So the one I got was the recent Joker one that came out. Batman, the One Bad Day, exclusive Comic-Con cover. So I got that for free, which it turns out to be like a $10 book. So, so I got the Teenage Mutant Turtles that I needed and got a cool Comic-Con exclusive. So that was pretty cool. And then the big seller though, this I kind of didn't do quite the chronological order. That last thing was actually at the very end of the con, like very end, and I sort of got them as they were packing up. But then but in the sort of before that, I actually met, what's the guy's name? Something Yi. He's really famous comic vendor for Golden Age. And I was so excited to see his stuff. I was like, wow. It's like all these really big grails. Like he had a lot of really awesome books. And the slabbed ones, the prices were pretty high, like for the most part. And he said all the prices in US dollars. I'm like, oh, that's too much. It was really pretty big stuff. But he had like raw section, and he had it in Canadian dollars, which was better, a little bit more reasonable. And he had so I went through and I was like, oh, that's really cool. That's really cool. I'd like that too. And so I picked up a bunch of low grade ones, to tell you the truth. But the first one was Bullet Man number 16. I believe, if I'm correct about this, I believe this is the last in the series for Bullet Man. And I'm trying to get a run of Bullet Man. So this is kind of a cool one with a great elephant cover. So this was, it's not a high grade or anything. I would say it's like a 3, maybe. But it's not bad. So that's kind of cool. So I thought, and he had it listed at 140. So I thought that was pretty great. And then he had a bunch of Planet comics. I was like, oh. And they're low grades. They're not like, don't expect high grades here, but they're reasonable grades. So like in terms of the way they present, I should say. So this is a 1.5, but it was $100 Canadian. So that's like 75 US. Okay. So I thought that's reasonable. Typically even like a low grade Planet Comics goes for about 150 US. So to get it for half, I was happy. So this is Planet Comics number 73. Just a great Maurice Whitman cover. And he had Planet Comics number 24. So these early Planet Comics go for huge money, actually. I was actually surprised because a lot of the later issues are the ones with the better Good Girl art. But this one actually I thought was quite nice. It has huge water damage. You can see, like, I'm not sure if you can see that, but it has huge water damage. So it is a low grade. I say it's low grade. He had it $100. And that's roughly 75 US. So I thought that was a great price for this book. I would say this is like a 2.0 range. If it wasn't for the water damage, it would be much higher, obviously. But just a really great cover. Just fun. I love these, like Planet Comics is really great for the Golden Age. Kind of like a mixture of good girl art plus sci-fi. So it's a very hot series. This series, like, comics have kind of waned since the comic boom, but Planet Comics has not seen that wane at all. These have been very hot. So this was a big book to get. So Planet Comics 24. And so he's like, oh, he saw that I was like picking at all these Golden Age books. So I'm like, he was like, oh, we have these more high, bigger books in behind our counter. Would you like to come around and take a look? So he had like 3 or 4 long boxes, or short boxes, I should say, short boxes of really awesome, like anywhere from $1,000 to $2,000, maybe $10,000 books, just like a raw. And he just had these like long boxes. So I'm like flipping through and like, oh, that's nice, that's nice, but way too much, way too much. Just it was big book after big book, and I was like, oh, I can't afford all those ones. But I did see something that I could afford, and that is sweet. That is just insanely sweet. I was like, that's a book that has been on my radar, that has been one that I really, really wanted. And it's in a good condition too. It's not like crap conditions like those ones are. It's in a 3.0, which is great for the golden age. And it's just a really great cover. This is like Matt Baker. This is a Matt Baker cover. He's known for, the Seven Seas and all those ones. But another series that is kind of not under the radar, it's one that's highly sought after by Matt Baker collectors, is Canteen Kate. And this is Canteen Kate #1. And it's just an awesome cover. Like, just really great. And it's one of the few covers, like, often in the golden age you don't have the artist's signature on it. Like, I can think of a few artists that do have their signature on the covers, like Charles Biro, Alex Schomburg, but often the Matt Bakers didn't have like his signature on the cover. Well, in the Canteen Kates, you actually get right here Matt Baker on the cover. I'm not sure if you can see that, but he actually has his name on the cover for once. So this was one of those books that, in a way, is kind of like one where you can say it is truly a Matt Baker, like, because his name is associated with it, and that's kind of cool. It's also a prodigy, has like a provenance with it, because I guess it came from some special collection. So I thought that was kind of cool too. So they gave me all this provenance. I thought it's kind of interesting. So yeah, so it's not a pedigree, but it is from a special collection. But I thought this one was really great. And the price for it was about $500. So I thought $500, that's US. Now, I bought all of these books from the guy. He didn't negotiate much. I really tried to talk him down. No, no interest in talking. He was just like, this is the price. I think he knocked off like maybe $50. That was about it. I was like, oh, okay. I guess not negotiating, but very nice guy. The price was the price. That is, and they were great prices to begin with. So I don't think he really had that flexibility to really discount the price too much. I think it was like $50 or $75 altogether that I kind of discounted, but that's about 10%. So he was pretty good, but it wasn't a huge discount. It's not like the other books where I got like huge discounts. But I thought this one was really awesome to get. I always wanted to get Canteen Kate in my collection, and now I finally have it. So this is a big book for me. So that was my comic haul. I thought it was pretty great. It was fun. Some of the other things that happened when we were there, my son, he got his mouse pad. That's what he was after. He was really wanted a mouse pad, like a big fancy one with like some anime on it. So he got that. So I was happy that he got something. My daughter, she did well too. She got some cool Funko Pop, and she got some Genshin Impact stuff. She's a big Genshin Impact girl. And I did do an interview with Arthur Adams, which was kind of fun. He was not really in the mood, I could tell, to do the interview, and you might see that when you see the interview. I was trying to get an interview with Dan Parent, and I guess he left before I got back to him. Like, I kind of was like, he was busy at the time that I visited him originally, and I circled back to him, and by that time he had left. Also, I was trying to get an interview with In-Huk Lee, who I met, but yeah, he was like, he was all business. I'd probably have to pay him for the interview kind of level. And then also, I met James Tinian, James Tinian the fourth. He was a nice guy, but again, he was very business orientated. So he was like, you have to go through the proper channels in order to interview me. I'm like, okay, I guess that's not going to happen. So, nice guy, but, kind of put up those barriers. So I was like, okay, I guess that's not going to happen. So I really didn't get the interviews that I wanted to do. I was hoping to get like about 5 interviews, but I didn't get any. I got one. I got one interview. Guy was sort of semi into it, and but it was fun. It was a fun interview. So I'll air that later. But I figured, hey, this was my Comic-Con Toronto Fan Expo, and this is my little badge from it. Okay, and it was fun. It was overall fun. The only thing that was hard, the only thing that was really brutal about the whole experience was the drive. Oh my goodness, driving back was so bad. Like, there was a Blue Jays game the same day as the Fan Expo. So what happened was there was like 2 sets of traffic that got out at the same time. All the fans from the Fan Expo and all the fans from Blue Jays game. It was a nightmare. We literally were sitting in the same spot trying to get out of this like downtown core of Toronto for about 20 minutes. We were just sitting there like, did we move yet? No, just we weren't moving. I was like thinking, oh my goodness, it's going to take hours and hours to get home at this rate. But once I got past that point and got onto the road, it was pretty good. But it took me almost 2 hours to drive back. And normally it's like a 30-minute drive. So it was kind of painful. But it was a fun experience overall. So that was my Toronto Fan Expo or Toronto Comic-Con experience. I hope you enjoyed this video. Thanks for watching. Please remember to like, comment, and subscribe, all that stuff. And thanks again.